Rough Edge FM. Irritatingly irresistible internet radio at roughedgefm.com.
There's so much going on in your community that even in this age of information, it's tough to keep up. This show will help. It's all about what's new, what's happening, and what's out there. So if you're ready, sit back and listen up, Santa Paula.
Adjust your dial. It is early. It is not Wednesday. For those of you who are panicking right now, going, oh my gosh, I missed a day. Yeah.
It's the holiday season, so schedules are going to be skewed.
Yes. Yeah.
Is that what you call it?
Uh-huh.
Skewed.
Yeah. For probably the rest of the year, it's going to be just all over the board.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when to expect us? Who knows?
We're a day early.
A day early?
Yeah.
$1 short.
Yeah, exactly. Well, a lot of it has to do with people are trying to schedule so many different events in the last few weeks of the year that it just makes it tough to kind of maneuver things, and like tomorrow I've got several different events that are coming up, and it's just I can't clone myself, so it's just like we make adjustments.
I can clone you.
I bet you could. So yeah, but
oh, by the way,
there is nothing like the original, so
that's true.
Oh,
that's true. Yeah,
the one and only.
By the way, I was working on your emoji.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
better make me look good.
Well, yeah, the first one came out. You look kind of creepy. So
why does it take that long to work on his emoji?
Because I'm doing it from the computer instead of the phone. So
it'll be cool if we do a show and it's just our emojis, just our characters.
Let the emojis do all the talking.
Yeah, just our characters.
Might be able to do that.
Let's sing that. We'll do a show kind of like a cartoon show.
Yeah,
just
either
like
that or I'll just print out a circular cutout and we can just plaster it on our face.
Yeah, that'd be cool to do a show like that.
I'll see what I can figure out. That might be neat. So we got Miss Fireball here.
Yeah, I'm glad to have her back here.
I know.
I missed her.
I know you did.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I brought her.
Good.
So
yeah.
And one of the things that is kind of interesting. So I'm an accountant by trade.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very much stay within the lines, make it nice and square, keep everything centered, and I am probably everything opposite of what somebody with an artistic personality should be.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm split because I am artistic.
Mm-hmm.
So some people might say autistic.
I was going to say change the R to a U. Maybe you might have more of what you're looking for.
Okay, and that explains everything.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And I'm not as structured as you. I'm a little more outside the lines a little bit. Not artistic, in that sense where you're way out there, but I shouldn't say way out there, but just in a different direction. But I don't like, sometimes it's hard for me to stay in the lines. It is. And that's the nature of my job too. I got to be flexible. I got to be able to, there's always moving targets. So you can't really do it a specific way. You have to always be adjusting.
Yes. I am more organic than I am stagnant. I can stay within the lines if I have to, but I'm not comfortable. I'm claustrophobic inside the lines.
You get a little antsy, honey, because you're just
I don't.
Yeah.
I like things to be, to go together and to look. I'm not like, whoa, out there, like you said, where everything is so mismatched. And because there are some artistic people that are very much way somewhere else. But I play outside the lines, and my brain, if there's a problem, my first thought is, okay, how can we fix it? I don't necessarily, unless it's something directly with me, most of the time I don't panic. In a larger situation, a lot of the times I can look at something and everybody else is like, oh my god, this isn't gonna work, and it's like, well, my brain is already 3 steps ahead on what to do next.
And that's kind of how I think, how I do it with a chamber, and most chambers do that. You're always thinking ahead. You're always, right now, example, I'm planning all of 2024. So I've already got all kind of an idea how the whole year is going to run. And I'm presenting that to my board. It's like, here's the idea. Here's the kind of concept. but it's a moving target depending on what happens and whether the community, whether it's within our own organization, you have a general idea, but then as you set up your shows and do all that stuff, but it always moves. you
Yeah.
know?
Like my December show.
Yeah.
That's been a moving target because of scheduling, and Christmas is always hard to schedule anything anyways, but
Yeah. But it's no different than getting back to business. I mean, as business owners, it's always a moving target. You're business owners, that, like you said, your show, you have a plan, whatever, but you have to change according to what goes on around you.
I think that's true with small businesses because large corporations, it's hard to turn that truck around.
Exactly.
But for smaller businesses, the next day you could be going in the opposite direction.
You need to be flexible in a smaller business in order to allow for the ever-changing community around you. A large business, their community is within those four walls, basically. And I mean, they reach outside of it, but all of their day-to-day happenings are within the four walls. In a small business, it's the community around you.
Yeah, and I used to work with a corporate company before, and that's how they were. You stayed within your parameters, and that's all you did. And whether it worked or not, that's where you had to stay. Well,
it's like in the movie industry. It's like, okay, your job is to plug in the wire, and your job is to tape the wire down, and your job is, it's like, why don't you just let one guy plug
one
it
guy
in and
could
tape
do it? Yeah, that just doesn't. It's not how it works.
Yeah, I was thinking about that because especially since COVID, when you look at marketing in general, there is so much that has changed, and it's like now we have X, and you got reels versus posts versus news feeds versus, I mean, it's like constantly evolving. And now with X, that's probably going to morph into a more of a real social media site than what it was originally intended for.
Yeah.
And it's constantly, the algorithms change. And so how does a small business keep up with all that? It's like, that whole social media is a moving target.
Yeah.
And you're going, well, I just threw the dart like a month ago and that was working just fine. And now it's not.
Well, look at the talk of AI all of a sudden in the last probably 6 months.
Yeah.
How that's just going to change the whole market. And it really is good and bad.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've talked about that. We're starting to dip into it and use it for what we do. And there's pluses and minuses to it, but we have to adjust too on our end, as you both will too. But there's so many changes, and you're right. It's hard for a small business, especially if you're the only person, or maybe you and your spouse or partner or whatever. It's hard to keep up. It really is. Understand it.
There's a guy online that I listen to who he's kind of a loudmouth. He's very much in your face type guy, but he's incredibly logical. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
He talks about people who say they don't have money to pay their bills, but yet they did this and they bought that. And why'd you buy that? You don't need that. And but one of the things that he was talking about was AI. And he's like, look, you can fight it. You can stomp your feet and close the door and not let it come in, but it's here. So you can either embrace it, or you can be left out in the dark.
Yeah.
And Julie's writing a book right now. And that's a struggle because it's like, okay, at what point do you just say, here at AI, here's my idea, go write me a book? But you lose your creativity. And so Julie right now, because I even suggested, why don't you put it in AI for some grammatical stuff or whatever. And she's like, no, I don't want AI touching it because this is my creativity, this is my thoughts. And
you don't take your painting to somebody and say, okay, can you fix my painting?
Right.
Okay.
Although AI can now paint.
It doesn't. Yes, but if you want it to be at some point, there are certain areas. AI is artificial intelligence, but if you want the human aspect, then you need to keep the human aspect. And for me, with my writing, I need to keep it the human aspect.
Because there's no emotion in it when you do AI.
They're going
it
to
doesn't
correct
have
grammar
emotion.
that doesn't
Yeah.
speak to the way a person would speak. And in a storyline, you need to write it like it would be spoken. Otherwise, it becomes extraordinarily boring for a reader.
Yeah.
Reading is very, very different than something that's a piece of work that you're going to send to somebody that's official. It's reading has to be organic. It has to flow.
Yeah.
It has to create a story, and it's not going to create a story if it's grammatically written.
And this is kind of a struggle that with the strike that just happened in Hollywood about AI. And to your point, that's what they're going to lose if they all move into this.
Right.
You know, because when you write a movie or a television show, you have your thoughts and stuff, but you don't want something else to write it that doesn't understand what you're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, there's one use that I found for AI to be very helpful. When you, a lot of times, if there's something that you're trying to research, you know, like, you know, what are the 10 top tips of doing X, or what's the number one software for it? You can actually go into AI and ask it its question, and it will write you up a whole thing on that topic based on the research that it pulls from the internet.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice to, instead of having to do all this searching, you go to that one place and it just pulls it all in. And it will even include hyperlinks and references if you tell it to.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm sure it's going to get smarter as it goes through, is just learning your habits and all these other things too. So
here's where I find it to be very disappointing, because it goes back to customer service. A lot of these large companies now are using AI to field out resumes.
Yeah.
So a human never looks at it. It's like strictly, it's like me. It's very black and white. You know, it's within the lines. And if there's anything outside of the lines, it doesn't matter. It's looking at it like this. And there's some potential prospects that are going to get overlooked because a human eye is not looking at it.
Yeah. And when you hire, I used to hire a lot of people in my previous job. And a lot of times I don't always hire the best, the one that's the most qualified. It's about a feel of a person,
right?
You know, as you're talking to them, are they going to fit with your team? Are they going to fit kind of with what your idea is and your concept is? And so a lot of times I've hired like that middle person, just, you know, not quite as qualified, but there's just something about that person that I liked. And I knew he would be a good fit. And sure enough, was a longtime employee, got along with everybody, did a great job, worked hard, but wasn't the most qualified, you know. And I've hired the most qualified before, and it was just didn't work out, you know, because the person couldn't get along with the other people. So it's a lot about personality too. And
people can look great on paper.
Yeah.
But being book smart is not the same as being intellectually smart. There's a big difference, and people don't understand that. Book smart means you know what you know because you read it somewhere in a book.
Yeah.
Being able to learn and adapt and grow and move outside that box is, for me, way more valuable, because there are so many times where somebody knows exactly what they've learned. They know it inside and out. They've even memorized certain things. But then you ask them something that doesn't pertain to something they've already learned, and they have absolutely no idea how to figure it out.
Yeah, it's back to what we've talked before about soft skills.
Yeah.
You know, and I was at a meeting yesterday, and there was a discussion about soft skills and talking about how the workforce now, you know, the generation that's comes in thinking they know how to do everything, and they want that instant gratification or the instant promotion and whatever. They think they want to be at a higher level right off the bat within a year or two, where you have a long-time person that's been there 20, 30 years, that's worked their way up, that understands the whole concept. And this generation that's coming in, not that they're all bad, but I mean, but there's the perception is they want to come in and then they just want to take over the world right away. And then is there loyalty? No, they'll jump ship a lot. And that's what's happening a lot right now. So, and a lot of it is they don't have the soft skills to understand when you come into a job that you have to work hard, you have to get along with people, you have to go through the whole process.
Yeah.
And the minute something happens, they jump ship, or they don't get what they think they're entitled to. And like I said, it's not everybody, but I mean,
No,
but it's
there's
the perception that's out there right now of it.
It's a very large perception,
Yeah.
and it is considered taboo to stay in a job past 3 years. Right now, 3 years is the max.
Mhm.
So by the time they're 25, they've had how many jobs? And to them, that's a badge of honor. To me, in my day, that was considered what?
Mhm.
You're
that was
unreliable,
somebody you wouldn't
unpredictable?
hire.
Yeah.
Because you look at him and go, oh, that guy bounces around.
Yeah.
It's not about retirement anymore. It's like, I want to find my career. I'm going to invest in this company, and then I'm going to retire.
Yeah.
And even companies now are like, hey, if we get 3 to 5 years out of them, great.
Yeah, I remember that was never the case.
Oh no, it was like, no, you're almost 60 years old. That means we only have you for another 5 years. Well, let's get somebody younger.
Yeah.
Now it's like, oh, well,
Younger and cheaper,
Yeah.
and I know, because my previous company, I was there 10 or 20 years, and the company before that, I was there 12 years.
yeah,
And I think I've had maybe 6 or 7 jobs my entire life, but I've stayed long periods of time with them, because there's a sense of loyalty to your company. You work your way up, you work hard and all that, and it's just not the case anymore. And that's just how society's created this. It's
We're a 3-second society.
yeah.
yeah. That's why when in marketing we were talking about the attention span of a goldfish. A goldfish, depending on where you look, can be anywhere from 3 to 5 seconds.
And I think social media has created this also.
Yeah,
On the internet, it's just there's always that shinier coin over here. You can just jump ship and go do all that stuff. You don't need, there's no loyalty as far as, even with a lot of them, they don't give you your 2 weeks notice anymore. That's not even in books for a lot of them anymore. It's like, hey, I'm leaving, and it's like the next day they're gone, or the same day, whatever, and then it leaves the company in a bind. I feel bad giving 2 weeks. So I was like, I'll stay as long as you need me to stay, but I have to go on this date, or something. You give them the benefit of the doubt.
yeah.
I don't see that anymore, and it's really disappointing that our society's created that, because we got a great generation coming up, but it's confusing for them, and I get it,
Right.
So how do we get it back? That's the key.
I don't know that we will, only because of the mindset as they're coming up the pikes. It is a huge rarity to have loyalty. And even in a relationship, there's no such thing as loyalty anymore. People get together and say, well, we'll see how this goes. Most in our generation, you made the commitment, you were in it for the long haul, and sometimes it didn't work, but most of the time that was. Now it's like, well, we'll see, we'll stay together for a couple of years, and then they move on because this isn't working for me anymore. So I mean, you're not getting that. That has, I think, that whole idea.
The new wedding thing is going to be until court do you part.
5 years or until
Yeah,
no matter until death do you part is
they expect you on average now to have 5 partners in your lifetime. That's the norm. And it's like, man, I couldn't even.
Well, I met that. I have my 4 boys who I consider partners, and
that I'm not talking about that kind of partner.
So,
that's kind of creepy. You're going in the wrong direction. So don't go there. No, don't even try to explain it. Drop it now.
But this new generation of kids coming up, I mean, they're super smart. I don't think we were that smart when we were that age.
No, they got their technology at their fingertips.
Yeah, and it's amazing some of the stuff they do, and I'm really impressed by a lot of them. But they're just, I think sometimes we do a disservice for them and not teaching them the other side of it too. Right. And that falls on everybody. It's not their fault. It's what society's about, and I worry about that with my kids.
Soft skills, because we don't teach them to put the phone down and look 3 inches above, and there's a whole world happening out there.
It's we always can hope, though. You know,
Yeah.
things will get better, and that's
The
part of
pendulum will swing.
it. Will
It
will.
always does.
Yeah.
And you know, the only way that you can do things is by developing programs and having things out there that teach these things. Because if it's not available, they're not going to learn it.
Yeah. I'll tell you, a great way to learn soft skills is you get hired by a small business, like that transit.
Ooh,
Yeah, I like that, huh?
Yeah.
Because when you work in a small business, what is it? It's one-on-one. You have to learn to talk to people. You understand people. You know, it's a whole different ballgame than if you were to work in like a grocery store or something
Right.
like that. So, and if you go downtown in Santa Paula or any store downtown that are in Santa Paula that has a small business and they have more than the owner, a lot of them are really personable. They understand, they talk to you, they'll say hi, and it could be a young person or an older person, but you just see a different mentality than if you were to go to like a grocery store or one of the big box stores where they're just scanning or whatever and just doing whatever. And then they don't even have people scanning anymore. You have the self checkout and all that stuff.
Everything in these large stores is all about the less contact, the better.
Yeah.
So self checkout, tags that you can scan to find out pricing.
It's all automated.
It's all about
Mhm.
hands off.
Yeah. So you know, great learning tool for kids to learn soft skills is getting involved in small businesses.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
And the small businesses out there capitalizing on the reward system of working for a small business, you know, incentives, things that help them feel connected and have a purpose and invested in the company that they're working for. Because a small business that doesn't try to capitalize on the investment of their employees, because your employees are your investment, then you're not going to go anywhere. And you excuse me, and you won't sustain. So as a business, you need to look at how can I make this something that makes them become invested in what they're doing, because they can see the bigger picture, because the bigger picture is hard to see when you're young and ambitious.
Yeah. And we want them to be ambitious, you know.
You do.
Yeah.
You just have to keep that look at the horizon. Don't always look right in front of your nose.
Yeah.
And speaking of small business, we have a small business person right here. He's not small, he's kind of tall, but yeah, he's right there. Oh, yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Is
So,
that it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't get too close.
So,
Broke the 6-foot rule.
There you go.
Well,
Yeah.
are you taking off?
I am.
So there you go.
I'm
Typical
sorry.
small business. You know, they work a what, 2-hour day?
Right. 2-hour day. I gotta go make money somewhere else.
There you go.
I also have to pay attention to my son.
Ah,
That's just why you make a small business anyways, so that you can have more flexibility for your family.
Yes.
See?
And with the new son, you got to give him a little break. You know.
okay.
Yeah. There's an adjustment period, right?
Yeah. I actually I don't even know what day it is anymore.
There you go. That's a mark of a good dad.
So-
Yeah. Not knowing what day it is.
We don't
sir.
know what day it is either because we're doing this Wednesday show on Tuesday.
Yeah, I know.
So-
So that's okay.
Bye.
Bye. So, with all that being said,
Yeah, that was a good topic to cover and stuff. But now, now we got a lot of things happening in our community. A lot of things coming up.
Well, I know we got the Christmas parade is right around the corner.
Holiday parade.
Holiday parade.
Yes. So
Oh.
that's a week. That's on
I gotta
Saturday.
be geopolitically correct.
Yes, we have to do that in our society today.
Yes.
But it's Saturday, November 25th. It's all part of the Small Business Saturday Shopping Day, which we talked about to support small businesses. And that goes on Small Business Saturday. I usually in our community, it'll start about 6 o'clock. That's when our first restaurants and stuff will kind of open up and stuff. And that goes all day till about 6:30. And then that's when our holiday parade kicks in. And that's it's looking pretty good right now. We've got about 37 entries, and we're going to be at
38.
38. So we'll be we'll probably be around 42 to 44, which is about what we had last year. I had like 6 people call me yesterday and wanted to enter, so I gave them the information. So hopefully they'll enter. But yeah, it should be a great parade. The
When-
weather's going to be good.
When is that?
Saturday after Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay. You're jumping way ahead.
It's next
Not
week.
really.
Well, yeah, because
Is it next week?
No, it's next week.
Friday,
Mhm.
which is this Friday, if you're going in chronological order here, is the Sip and Shop in Santa Paula.
Yeah, we're going to get to it, but he brought up the parade. So
I know. That's why
Yeah.
I'm trying to correct him.
By the way, do you know how many people that come into the magic store and we say Merry Christmas and they go, thank you?
instead of saying it back, right?
No.
Yeah.
No, meaning thank you for saying Merry Christmas
Yeah.
instead of Happy Holiday or something like that.
Mm.
They so what we end up doing is we find out what their holiday of choice is when they come in,
Mhm.
and then we'll say Happy Hanukkah or Happy whatever, and then Merry Christmas. And
You just say Happy Holidays, and that covers everything.
Right. And
Oh.
there's a reason for that.
what's that?
So I've seen and I'm a Christmas person and I'm completely okay with that.
Mhm.
However, your perspective is to look at happy holidays is not you're not excluding, you're including. That way you're being an inclusive person who is including all diversities of people, because of the fact that there are people that don't celebrate certain holidays, which is completely fine. But if you say happy holidays because it is the holiday season, then you're being an inclusive person. So
Yeah, what
it's a
about if people
perspective.
what if people don't celebrate the holiday at all?
Then that's
Like any holiday.
Let's stay home.
Then it's happy.
no, they don't have to. Then
Happy-
And that's their right to do that, their choice to do that, and that's
Right.
fine. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
right,
No, but if I
Yeah.
say happy holiday, then they're like,
They just won't respond.
right,
And that's where they might say thank you or something. And most people that don't celebrate them probably won't take offense to anything or anything
Yeah.
like that. You know, they understand.
I'm just
you know?
being
yeah.
It's
So
difficult.
don't go
just
there.
being you. So
Yeah.
but you know, we switched the parade a few years back to for that reason, you know, because traditionally it's always been the Christmas parade, and so we just felt that it was better to just make it a holiday to celebrate everything, you know. So and we got pushback. We got a lot of people that were not happy about it, and I don't know if it was the timing, because it was during when all the stuff was going on about, you know, about being politically correct, but
yeah.
we felt when we had a discussion that it made more sense for us to change it and keep it moving forward, because we do have a lot of different people that have different beliefs in our community, you know, so it just made more sense for us to do that.
But then you have Santa Claus.
Santa can handle anything.
But not everybody celebrates Santa Claus either.
I know, but
Yeah.
Santa Claus is in the parade.
Yeah.
So Santa Claus is part of the holiday.
Yeah, we welcome anybody that wants to come in for the parade. You know, it's a celebration of the holidays. That's what we're there. And Santa's one of he hasn't, you know, he hasn't said I'm not participating. You know, he's got a standing invitation, and he honors it every year. So and you know, if he wants to say Merry Christmas, that's his right to do that too. But I know last year, I think Santa most time just said Happy Holidays.
Really?
Yeah, he wanted to make everybody.
Now,
feel
last
good.
year was the Deaf Santa.
Yeah, so he was doing Happy Holidays with a sign language.
Nice.
Yeah, so
It's perspective.
Mhm.
And I've found as time goes on, I'm learning to look at things with perspective, so that way everything doesn't become so like, why is this happening
Mhm.
now? Try to take yourself outside the box
Mhm.
and look at, okay, there are people and there will always be people
Mhm.
that look at it for certain specific reasons,
Mhm.
but in a general whole, how are we looking at it? We're looking at it to include as many people as we possibly can, because we are a community and there's diversity in our community. So you need to be inclusive. Otherwise, you're the one leaving people out, and that doesn't necessarily need something that I want to do.
and a lot of it is respecting everybody's beliefs.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to do that, because you've seen in in the media, there's a lot of people that don't respect other people's beliefs, and that's where the world gets a little twisted. But as we're seeing, but I think in our community, a lot of people we all respect each other for the most part. And I think that works for our community. Larger cities or communities, you see there are some pushback, but we don't really have that in our community. So that's a good thing about us. What we do.
So 30 seconds or less. What's happening?
Sip and Shop.
Next Friday.
There you go.
Sip and Shop on Friday from 4 to 8. And it's a great little program that some of the local businesses here in Santa Paula, especially ones that are on the main strip, have welcoming people in, come into our shop, look around. You might get a little treat, a snack or a drink, and come check out our shop, maybe talk to us, get yourselves revved up for the holiday season.
Yep. And then we have the parade, and then what we're doing, and I've talked about it, we're doing Small Business Season, which is our chamber networks around the world. And every Monday through Friday, we post at 9 a.m. a different on social media, on Facebook and Instagram. We post something that talks about supporting small businesses. So look out for it every day, and Monday through Friday. And it's kind of cool. We have different sayings and different photos kind of relevant to what's happening during that time frame. So.
And how did the tree
the Boys and Girls Club event?
Yes,
it was fantastic. They raised a lot of money. It was a good event. They had about 250 people attend.
Nice,
which was great. And going back to the Boys and Girls Club as the original venue where it was good to have it outdoors. It was warm. Go figure in November it's warm. But I bartended with one of my other board members, and the ladies kept me moving. So, because it was more of a luncheon, so it's a lot more women that are attending it. So, but yeah, it was a good event. It was great.
And whose tree did the best?
There was a post of, I forgot which tree it was that did the best, but
number 33.
Is that what it was?
I don't know.
Yeah,
that was our tree.
Okay, so I don't know. I didn't get the final count, but I know the Boys and Girls Club. You go on their social media page. I think they posted as far as how many tickets were in the top 2. I think.
Oh, okay.
Chamber didn't make top 2 this year, so we've made number 1, but no, we weren't even in the top 2.
There's some really cute trees this year that were really interesting.
I'm going with the Barbie.
No, I know it. And now it just popped in. California Coffee Collective was the one that received the most tickets, and that was the one that was right next to the chamber tree.
Is that the one that was like you could barely see the tree?
Yeah, Lisa Sorry from the California Coffee Collective. She did a fantastic job. That tree was
well, somebody
awesome.
Could take that tree home and just put it in their living room for their tree.
You couldn't even see the green, but it was so much stuff on there, and it made my tree next look even better because it was all chamber tree and everything. And my wife did a great job decorating it. So it was but all the trees were different, and they were all good this year again.
They had a nice little flare, like the one next to us. I don't know if it was just a company, but it was a lot of dog treat things and stuff. But the way they put it together with the Rudolph theme, it was really, at first I was looking at it going, oh man. But then once they finished, I thought, oh wow, that's a really cute tree. I would love to get a tree like that. So it was fun.
There was a lot more creativity this year, which was good. Yeah, a lot more people get involved as we keep going.
Yeah, our tree was all filled with magic.
Magic, the toy store.
Yeah,
put a whole toy tree together. There was a lot of toys this year.
Yeah,
3 Barbie trees.
I know the Barbie trees were like crazy.
Yeah, they were out of control, the Barbie trees, and of course the alcohol trees always do well. The money tree, Rotary sponsors the money tree, and they did a great job with that too. Everybody was very creative this year. Yeah, they're always different, So even though we had 3 Barbie trees, all 3 Barbie trees were different the way they set it up.
Yeah,
so it was cool though. It's always a good event.
It's a neat, and I mean, if you think about it, if you're putting your tickets in, because it's tickets and it's not an auction, it's kind of a neat idea because anybody has the chance to win it. It's not just people who have a lot of money that can win it. One ticket wins it. So that's kind of a neat concept.
It's like the lottery. You only need $1. or
Yep.
sometimes 2. So
All right. Well, we got to wrap it up. We are about 5 minutes over. So
good stuff.
happy Tuesday. We will see you next Wednesday on our regular scheduled time.
Yep.
And then Thanksgiving.
We'll talk about Thanksgiving and the parade next week.
Wow.
I know.
And there's probably like food shares and things like that. So there'll be a lot to talk about next
A
week.
lot of things happening for the holidays.
So, all right. We will see you all next week. Stay safe.
This has been a Rough Edge Studios production.